Welcome to Open BXRX Tuesday on BronxNet. I'm your host, Sonyi Lopez, and I'd like to invite you to get social with us at BronxNet TV on Instagram and Twitter, and BronxNet Community Television on Facebook. Mayor Bill de Blasio recently announced that New York City public schools will fully reopen in September in person without a remote option. How are educators feeling? How are Bronx schools preparing? Here to share this and much more is the Bronx principal and principal of PS 55 here in the Bronx, Luis Torres. Thank you so much, Principal Torres, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I love BronxNet and I love being on this show. Appreciate it.
We love you too, and we love the Bronx Evolution. So thank you always for your time and your work in the Bronx. So the first question right off the bat: how are you and your teachers and staff at PS 55 feeling about fully reopening this fall?
Well, I think I can say that people are excited. We've been waiting to get back. We've been hoping to have the children in front of us. We're excited, but of course, there's always going to be a little caution there too, right? We're a little bit afraid of what's to come. But having the children back in the building is going to be something that I look forward to experiencing again. And I look forward to having my teachers back as well. But it's going to come with a little bit of nervousness.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, how are you preparing to reopen and ensuring that both your staff and your students have a safe transition back to in-person?
So I'm preparing by making sure that all the resources and things that the teachers are going to need to be successful are in place. We moved our cafeteria to the first floor. We're hopefully going to have our parking spaces available for teachers to come back. We're creating safe, nurturing spaces throughout the building where people can come just to relax and to focus and to have time for them to refocus and relax.
Now, Principal Torres, Mayor de Blasio did state that there is no remote learning option. Are there any exceptions to this? And can you share?
So right now, as he stated, there are no remote options, but of course, the city will figure things out as we get closer to the time of reopening, and we will see. I know that there are some students that, because of their health conditions, won't be able to return. So of course, there will be some remote options for those students. But they're making a clear a message that everyone is to come back to the school. And that's how we're preparing and we're planning that everybody will be back.
And when we do, something we've been talking about during the pandemic, especially when it comes to remote learning and education in our borough, is the challenge of tech issues and tech disparities in the Bronx. Can you tell us a little bit about how that challenge has affected you and your students and staff at PS 55?
So the tech issues have always existed. The pandemic just made it more visible for more people to see what was really going on. The great thing about the Bronx is that we really push forward, and thanks to Ruben Diaz, Misha Ross Porter, and others, we were able to successfully put devices in every child's hands. Then we found out that the internet was an issue. There were shelters that did not allow for internet access. There are dead spots throughout the Bronx. So together with the help of the borough president and our chancellor and others, we were able to start to identify these areas. And now we're working on providing hotspots and other options for the families.
And something we were speaking about offline is the challenges one of your students recently faced. Can you tell us a little bit more about, that the real life challenges that students are facing, just so that folks who are home can also understand that the tech disparity that has affected our borough is serious and is needed.
So early on, we started to find out that we had students that were going to like the local laundromat and to other areas just to be able to access the internet. And for me, that's very sad that a child would have to go to a laundromat to access the internet. So we've been fixing those issues, providing hotspots and other things. But the reality is the inequities of the world continue, and we have to make sure we continue to push back and fight for equity for all children. No child should have to go to the laundromat to do homework. That just doesn't. That's unacceptable. That makes no sense to me.
Thank you for sharing, Principal Torres. And going back to the reopening plans for schools, what are the mask guidelines now for students? And will there be testing access at all Bronx public schools, including PS 55?
So here at 55, we've been doing testing way before people started doing it because we have a Montefiore clinic in the school building. We're going to continue to do the testing all the way through. We're going to continue to monitor the CDC and respect the guidelines and the things that are passed forward. Right now, we're looking at mask restrictions still being in place in schools, but who's to know? By next month, that can change. So we're just going to continue to monitor what the CDC is saying, what the chancellor is saying, and we're going to continue to do everything in our power to fight this pandemic and get back to where we need to be so that we can be successful for our children.
Let's say that someone does test positive in the school, whether that be a teacher or a student. What is the plan and the protocol in place if that happens?
So right now, we have classroom closures, we have school closures based on positive rates, depending on who's been affected, who's been exposed. I envision that continuing when we get back in September. But of course, we're going to look to see that it's going to start to go down, right? Because the more and more people are being vaccinated, and the more and more we continue to prepare, we should be ready for anything that comes forward. But I don't anticipate it being a big problem in September, the way it was when the pandemic was in full swing.
And just to put that out there as a scenario, Principal Torres, if that does happen, then remote options would have to return. No, that would probably be the solution, I guess.
Yeah, I see that there are going to be opportunities for remote options. I believe the snow days are over, right? Remember how you used to get the snow days off? We used to look forward to that.
Yes.
That's an opportunity for a remote day. I'm going to be looking to have parent meetings and things like that remotely. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for remote. It's very important that we don't throw away something that was successful and innovative, right? The technology showed us that there are a lot of great things that the technology brings. I mean, restaurants, you saw how, takeout has become a big boom. And, I don't anticipate a lot of these things going away. In fact, we should look at these things and build on them because there's a lot of opportunities for technology to continue to be a big piece of our educational programming.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And something else I would love to highlight now that we have you here, Principal Torres, is something else that's been innovative here at BronxNet, thanks to you and the efforts of so many educators in the Bronx and throughout, the boroughs. Bronx Evolution. Can you tell us more about it and how it's been going and what your hopes for the future are with this amazing programming for our students in the Bronx?
I just want to say thank you to BronxNet, Michael McNobby, Estefania, Bernardo, the whole BronxNet team. Chancellor Misha Ross Porter, Timothy Coleman, everyone who's been part of the Bronx Evolution. It was an amazing effort. This came about from the pandemic. It's something that we wanted to do to ensure that all children had access to education, whether they had internet access or not. They can turn to the Bronx Net channels and they can see educational programming. Teachers stepped up, parents stepped up, counselors, everybody just came out. And it's just been an amazing run. I look forward to continuing this work and see where the Bronx Evolution takes us because it's needed during this time.
I'll definitely agree with that. And I wanted to also bring up that the Chancellor will be holding a Bronx Engagement Forum. Principal Torres, can you tell us more about this event and how families can sign up for it?
So we have an amazing chancellor. She's from the Bronx, Misha Ross Porter, and she's been doing amazing work. She stepped right in and she's taking us out of this pandemic in a great way. She's always looking for ways to engage the community and get their feedback on things. The Bronx Engagement Forum is just another opportunity for her to connect with the community and to see what we're talking about, what we're thinking, as well as which way she wants to lead the system. She's a leader that takes in all the feedback from her constituents and the community, and she turns it over into practice and doing great things for our communities. So I'm excited about that forum. It's going to be a great event.
And this is a Bronx specific forum, right, Principal Torres? There are different ones happening around the borough. So parents, just so that we get more understanding, can come in, ask questions, hear feedback, give feedback, and all that in these forums. No.
Yeah, usually there are questions or things submitted, and there'll be opportunities for the parents to engage. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be different ways that the parents can engage. But knowing Misha Ross Porter, she takes the words of the parents and the community to her heart, and whatever is discussed during this day will come out in practice and do something for our communities. Um, I'm just so happy that she's, connecting with the Bronx in a very strong way as a chancellor.
Right. And one last thing before we go, how else can families voice their concerns and share feedback at this time? I know there's also a survey around.
Yeah, the survey is a very important piece. People don't realize how important the survey is. You can go to the DOE website, you can find the survey on there. And it's very important that people fill out the survey. Schools look and use the survey to guide the work within the schools. The system uses the survey to make system-wide decisions. But don't take it lightly. I read every survey that is submitted from my school. Sometimes I read 300, 400 surveys because I want to know what people are thinking. It makes no sense for us to lead a system, to lead a school or school system and not be meeting the needs of the people that we're serving. So the survey is very important. I tell everybody, make sure you do that survey. You have no idea how important that survey is to us.
Thank you so much again, Principal Torres, for joining us today. And thank you for your leadership in the Bronx. And, best of luck to you and our teachers and educators and our students with the reopening coming up soon.
And I appreciate you and much success to your show. You're doing amazing work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back here on Open BXRX Tuesday.